All right. Welcome to the Seidat webinar. Today's topic will be that how the top hotels can use technology to stay off the top of mind. Also, we are gonna talk a little bit about sales enablement, lead process, inbound and outbound leads, and also a little bit overall discussion about the hospitality industry in general in these days. A little bit about me. So I have been working with SaaS industry over 2 decades now in a very different various SaaS companies and technology companies. And originally, I'm not a hospitality professional. I have been working very close latest 3 years now with hoteliers and hotels, hotel operators, chains, and these amazing hospitality people. But in the end, my 20 years experience comes from the technology side of the field. And today we have our guest here, who is Markus Kauppinen. Welcome.
Thank you. It's always good to be here.
Could you tell us a little bit about your background and your experience in the field of hospitality?
Well, absolutely, yeah. So my background in hospitality is for more than 30 years. I started as many in this industry behind the bar desk, and then I worked all my way up to the management teams in a hotel company and hotel chain.
From the 90s?
Well, I started. I started. Absolutely. Well, actually, in 80s already.
Oh,
so old in this business. So it's So I started at the bar. Then I went to hotel operations, to the front office. There, from front office to I moved to the back office type of thingies,
okay.
training.
So how long you were in the front force, and when you moved back to the back office, like 10 years, 15 years?
Oh, it was more than 10 years. But it was kind of on and off. Sometimes I was studying at that same time, and I was working also
on both sides.
Yeah, I was working on the tourism industry and in Finland and abroad, and so that was got various positions. But yeah, it was more than 10 years I was in the front office. But I did at the same time I did all the distribution and sales. So it's the so let's say 2003 probably, so 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, I moved to the revenue management and sales. Then to the technology as well. So the distribution is kind of the step to the technology.
Yeah.
I went to the dark side of the business, which is the OTA. So I worked for Expedia for a couple of years, which was a great experience, I have to say. So I know much. I mean, the business models. That was already kind of 20 years ago. So a lot has changed those times, but still, kind of the ideas are there. And then I went back to the hospitality and the hotel business, to the hotel chains. That 2007. 15 years ago, and then like since then I've been in a hospitality in a hotels and various positions. I moved to the sales, so I led the sales teams. I built the sales teams, call centers, and so on. So kind of various positions here. So kind of what we have kind of discussed today. So I think I have a bit of a background.
Yeah.
What we are discussing.
Can you pinpoint a couple of your old workplaces?
Well,
and Expedia.
Yeah, that's right. But if we take the hotels, so it's the I work for Residor, the Radisson and Parkins, the head office.
Famous brand.
Yeah, I've been with the Starwood Luxury Collection, been with the leading hotels of the world. Those properties belonging those brands. So yeah, bit of experience from also from the luxury and also from the kind of the mainstream hotels.
A lot of various positions from the grass work to the back office and in the end in the revenue management.
Yep, and the sales.
And the sales, of course. So you have at least understanding how hoteliers and hotels sells their products and services
in there.
Yeah. All right. So nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's move forward. So we were discussing this morning that how hotels currently run their lead processes and inbound and outbound leads. And what I have heard in the market when I have met a lot of hoteliers and hotel operators, by the way, I have been now traveling a lot in these trade fairs, which are pretty familiar to you, like an ITM, IPT, World Travel Market, and met a lot of our customers. They usually they say that the hotel industry is a very inbound heavy business. So like 80% of the deals and the whole market runs through inbounds. Is that correct?
Well, I can't say if it's 80%, 70%, whatever, but yeah, there's definitely there's two sides of this sales in this industry, which is the outbound sales and then the inbound, and depending the brands and depending the position of the hotel, being it the kind of the mid-scale hotel or being at a luxury hotel, it's really differs.
The product is so different. So when you are selling a bulk and you're trying to have your occupancy rates, your RevPAR, everything in place, it's a little bit different when you're selling a high value luxury products, and then probably the lead which comes in is managed differently.
Definitely they are. At the end of the day, the processes are pretty much same, but they are managed differently. So if higher we go in the category, my experience is it's more the sales heavy in a way. So we need more sales force to take care of those leads because there's much more discussion with the customers. So thinking about that, so it's if you think about the hospitality, the hotel business from this kind of category way. So it's more the mainstream, mainly the mid-scale hotels. They are moving towards the automated sales processes.
Yeah.
So that's
at least from the smaller side of sales, like 10-20% mid.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Event packages, etc.
Those being automated pretty much all
10 years ago.
Years ago already, and automation is the name of the game there, and with the AI coming on board, so I think that's just increasing. Which is also kind of freeing up the sales capacities for other type of sales, which is the outbound sales, so reaching the customers. So that's definitely so.
And are you saying that hotels kind of can do now more with the less of people?
I would say so, because there is the automation, more automation. It's taking care of the smaller requests, but it's also enhancing those requests. If we think about lead process, so leads are usually, we don't get all the information from the customers what we need in order to create and the kind of the winning proposal, if you say.
Yeah.
But in the lead phase, when you think about that, so the automation, what it does, it also creates a situation where we have more time, or we should have more time. The sales agents, they should have more time to contact the customer and work with their problem, so solving their problem. Because my experience is that currently when we look at where the time goes, the sales managers or the inbound agents, where their time goes, so it's like they use 20% of their time to kind of to understand their customer problem, and 80% of the time is went to the kind of managing the different systems and creating the proposal and sending it out back to the customer. So I think that's kind of it should be opposite.
If you think about the technology here, how we can use and enable current and technology at the future in that kind of process, what it would mean?
Oh, it means a lot. And I use the term it enhances the process in a way, so it makes it more efficient, the lead process itself. And when I'm saying more efficient, I kind of mean that from the technology perspective, so it takes a little bit less time for the sales team or the sales manager or the agent to work with the lead, and that's freeing up the time, like I said, for other for the same sales agents to then kind of discuss it with customers.
I assume that if they have even more time than before because of the automation and the automation of kind of small and maybe even a medium-sized packages and MFT sales. When we think about that they have more time, I would assume that it would give the customers more quality.
Absolutely. More value.
And more value.
More
Value. More personalized work,
Yeah.
more hospitality also in the sales process.
Exactly.
Which is in the heart of the business.
Exactly.
In the hospital.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's go a little bit further about the meeting and event sales process. So from the RFP, if you think about the request for proposal comes usually through email, through forms, through agents, partners, etc. And what happens if you think about materials? What they are going to do? Are they sending straight away a PDF offer, or what they are doing when they get this request?
Well, I think many times when you get the lead in, first of all, like I said, it's the leads are not complete. So you need to work.
They're missing.
There's bits and pieces missing from the leads. If they are sending by email or if it's coming to the lead forms or whatever. So there's usually things missing. So the first thing is that the agent needs to contact the customer anyway. So it's the phone, email, whatever. So seeking out more information regarding the lead. So that takes time. So I think that automation, it comes on board there, and also the AI will help on that process a lot. Then when they have all the information what they need, they start to create the proposal, the draft, the proposal, what is there. And there comes the materials. What I've seen in many cases is that the sales materials, what the agents, what they have, they are not really used. So the offers which are sent back to the customers, they are quite basic in a way that it doesn't kind of reflect the unique selling points of the hotel.
But I have seen that most of the hotels and hotel operators invest a lot in the look and feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
That the guest and the customer, they can feel it and see it. But this is a high quality service.
I think there is a big mismatch between think about websites. Yeah, if you think about hotel websites, amazing websites. Then you think about the sales, the quality of the sales materials, what the customers are receiving when the hotel is sending the offers back. I think there's a mismatch.
I believe so. What I have seen that they are kind of very traditional PDF or even Word documents.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So no any visual aspects, no tailoring. Only kind of tailoring comes, of course, with the packages and services, and it's tailored based my need. But it's a very plain Word document, which is very different than the look and feel of the website.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, I'm saying, like I said, I started my career to late 80s, let's say 1990.
And it haven't changed.
No, I mean 1990. There was
it hadn't changed from 1990.
The PC came on 1990. There was the Windows. I think not 1.0 Windows.
Yeah, I remember.
Came 1990, and also the Word 1 point whatever. So and that's. I've been there. I converted the materials from the kind of typewriting machine thingies. I converted them to the PC, and then 30 years ago, 35 years on, and we are still there. We are still using PC. We are still using the Windows now. We are on 11, and the Word. I don't know the version, but we are still there. So it's still the same exact process, and I'm quite convinced that if we go back to the hotels working with these proposals, we can actually see that the actual documents are from 1990s.
Well, yeah. But why to change it if it works?
Yeah,
maybe there would be an opportunity to have a little bit competitive edge.
Yeah, I think it's the I think that's also a bit of an issue here. So it's the we've been so used to use these technologies we've been using for so long time. So moving to do something else, to using the new technology takes time, takes resources, takes training, ideas, and so on. But I'm 100% convinced that moving away from very standardized way to create offers and create proposals to the new technology whatever there's available. So that will really enhance the process and enhance the customer experience. And at the end of the day, that's what we do.
Currently, we are in the revolution age of AI. So probably AI will be part of every stage of future hospitality sales process.
And again, I'm back with this idea. So I think the AI will change the whole process, because it will give so much opportunities to free up the time from the kind of the manual processes and the sales agents to be in contact with the customer and really kind of thinking through their problem and how they kind of solve the problem, whatever the customers have.
Exactly. If we move forward to the process, next would be to have a meeting phase. So now we have made the initial materials, which would be probably done by PowerPoint, Word, etc. And what happens in the meeting? Does the initial proposal change or?
Many times, yeah. I hardly ever seen any bigger proposals which haven't changed on a way. Meaning that the initial being sold to the customer, and then when the negotiation phase starts, so there will be new requests or there will be changes and so on to the proposal. So definitely, so I think that's also the big part of the manual process, what most of the industry is still using, taking enormous amount of time to amend the process. There is a lot of mistake happens in the between. So I see that huge opportunity there to automate that, but also to enhance the systems to use to produce these offers.
If we think more about the meeting phase, so traditionally, what I have heard and learned from the hospitality is that most of the hotelier sales process relies on site visits. They want to get the people to see, feel, and even smell the awesome kitchen and the food and everything, but I believe that there is some demand from the customer side that they should be served remotely.
I think it's both. It's again, it depends the type of the hotel or type of the establishment. So higher we go in the ladder, so saying that towards the 5-star.
Yeah, more to the luxury.
Yeah, more to luxury. So there is more the kind of the demand from the customer base to see the product, to feel the product, see the offering, getting the experience. Because end of the day, it's about customer experience. That's what we are saying.
Yeah.
In hospitality.
Otherwise, it's just walls.
Yeah. So experience. And so that's why I think it's still both though. And I think that comes from there, what you're saying, that many times the hoteliers are saying that, or the sales is saying that, okay, they want customers to come to see the product. Absolutely. And there is definitely need for that. But also, like you said, it's the sales is moving in general. It's not only the hospitality, as we know that exactly. It's any sales. It's moving more towards the remote sales. We don't meet the customers anymore. We meet them online. We do the presentations online. We have meetings online, and that definitely will change the materials what is needed.
Exactly. And the technology. You need to have a hybrid technology to serve the both. We get the people in and also have a high quality technology and materials to present and convince the customer remotely.
And it's also, I mean, even though the customer is able to come to the property, which is definitely in cases, the bigger sales. And when we go into the cities like London, New York, Paris, Hong Kong, and so on. So, and the customers and hotels are actually in the same city, so that's easier to reach. Yeah, reach. So I think that's definitely. But then again, in our business, it's not guaranteed that you can actually see all those facilities, even though
they can be occupied already. Exactly. There might be a meeting ongoing.
There is something going on, so you might end up in a situation if you don't see all those. So that's why the materials are needed as well. So it's also, even though the customers are coming on site.
Thank you. Okay, we just discussed about how to adjust the proposal and what happens in the meeting, and I believe so that the adjusting phase is very common. There are always changing things, new requests and new findings from the customer side, and how to answer that. We already discussed about it. How about the negotiation? But when we are in the place that the customer need and the service is aligned, and we start negotiation.
Well, it's again, it depends. Negotiations phase, when we are there, it's when we send the proposal, access the proposal, we are discussing about different type of opportunities or customer needs, if you will.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I think that's more the negotiation. So how we fit all those customer needs into the proposal. It's usually the way I'm feeling it's not just it's not so much about the price. It's more about the experience. It's more about that we can actually accommodate the customer needs, and that's more than negotiation going back and forth.
Exactly. For my kind of over 20 years experience in the software sales, the difference here is that usually when I was selling a software for a kind of enterprise customer, they have maybe 2 or 3 competitors in the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Many times there weren't any competitors because usually the software is a little bit and it's kind of a very hard to copy, or there is no exact benchmark competitor for the exact product. But the thing is different in the hospitality. Most likely they have like 3-4 different variables to choose.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a difference. So if you think about especially meetings and events, so and on also the groups, the accommodation groups, but if we stay with the meetings and events here, it's very common that you ask the proposal from several properties, from several hotels, saying that again, if there's a need for one city, the proposal goes out to 3, 4, 5 hotels, depending the size of the group and also the need of the customer, of course. But then again, you're not only competing you're competing with other similar providers for the same business. So that's when it comes to that's also the part of the negotiation. So thinking about if we think about negotiation from that perspective, then definitely we come back to the materials, the customer experience. Can we really show our unique selling points compared to the
customization? It's customized based on my need, not the general.
Yeah,
if I take the general material like the competitors, I don't get myself at that stage up from theirs.
Yeah, I think it comes down. Of course, there are some kind of rules when we send out the proposals. There needs to be some kind of the things needs to be there, like the terms and conditions are always there.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of the boring side of the proposal. But it's more that we create the proposal so visual and so appealing to the customers that they can understand, they can feel it. Okay, this is what I'm getting when I'm engaging with this provider.
Thank you. And of course, last part is always the closing the deal. And usually that is but I have heard many hotels already use an e-signage solution, e-proposal solution. So it's very, very easy to just sign through digital channels, not traditional paper writing anymore. One thing that we also discussed this morning, not just only this process, but also what happens before the process. But did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I mean the signature that's a very interesting idea. I think it's not so much used in a hospitality yet, but it will come. So thinking about the process and negotiation, we end up the negotiation. We agree that okay, we're gonna do the deal. So the next phase is of course to getting it signed. So now the question is how is getting it signed? And I know that there are already hotel, especially hotel chains, which are using e-signatures. Yeah, and very efficiently. So they have cut time the signing process from days to the hours, which is I think it's significant advantage.
For me, this is kind of absurd. Sorry to say it. Like I have been working over 2 decades in the SaaS field, and I started doing electronic signings in my contracts like in the 90s even.
But you know what?
Start of 2000.
The reason, one of the reasons might be why it's not so widely used. It's about the brand. Now, think about the current e-signing processes. And then if you're running a very high-end brand, I would say that again, there might be a mismatch between the brand and the signing process. So that might be something that might be area what needs to be looked into. So and
I totally understand if I have a kind of 20,000 employees a corporate, and I'm negotiating you with a kind of yearly 3 years deal that we are gonna do like a 20 happenings in next 3 years in your hotels, then the deal size would be like 1-2 million. And then I would really understand that maybe in that kind of deal, I would fly and have this authentic signature meeting with the hoteliers or the team management. But yeah, I have done huge deals in the software industry.
Yeah,
using
I don't say that. I don't say that it's not doable. I think it's definitely doable in hospitality as well. The e-signature. I think it's more and more adopted. But it's what I'm kind of questioning is that again, from the brand perspective, if you have a very high-end brand, so I think all your materials, what we're discussing today, sales materials, but also the process needs to reflect that. And if there's so from that perspective, if you think about it, so it's like maybe the kind of the real signature is still kind of, it creates some sort of value to this process.
It's authentic. It feels me that this is something very important, and these people respect.
Because
me.
End of the day, hospitality is a people business. So we discuss together, we negotiate together, and we sign together.
Well, in my past experience, we did one quite large deal with a government, but we did it in the Hangout Teams meeting, and we had 8 people there, and we electronically signed in the team meeting. But we were all present, and we was discussing each other, and everything was really enjoyable and happy, and that kind of way we had the feeling there.
I think. But 100%, I'm sure that they can have the signature phase. It will move into the electronic signature type of things. But then again, I have to say that it's what I've heard is that now we look this from the Nordic perspective and then the Finnish perspective. And here in Finland, we are so much ahead of these electronic signatures that if we go to Sweden even. So I think it's not adopted that much there in Sweden. And if we go further away,
Central Europe,
I think the adaptation process is not yet kicked in there. So I think that's the also one of the issues.
But it's changing.
It will change, definitely.
Thank you, Markus. Now let's move to the next topic. So how to improve this whole process?
How to improve? So everything like we discussed earlier. So if you think about the customer journey, the customer buying process, how you want to say it. So it starts from some sort of need always. There's a need for the customer being a meetings and events or accommodation or whatsoever. And so the customer is kind of doing they have some sort of process behind the scenes. So, and in order to kind of capture that customer attention, that's why we have the marketing, we have the websites, and so on. So, from the sales perspective, I think what is a bit missing is that that material is driven by marketing. So, in order to improve the lead process, in order to capture more qualified leads, for example, I think from the sales, we should be able to offer more sales kind of the materials which are more dedicated towards the actual sales the customer needs the system. So saying that if we are offering different type of services and products, I think we should be able to also the customers, the sales materials on website, whatever the customers then using to research our offering. So we should be able to include the actual sales materials there as well. The same sales materials what we are using throughout the sales process as well.
Yeah, you kind of try to say that you should use the right content in right time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what I have heard, and I have been using a sales enablement process in software business like the last 10 years. It's a very common way to help the sales process and shorten the sales cycle. And it really means that you should send a content and relevant information in the black spots. So what happens between this part of sales process? What happens between the initial request? What happens between the meeting? What happens between the second meeting? What happens between the negotiation? That's the place where you can also a lot of have impact for sending a right content, relevant content for the decision makers and the customers between these phases.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what we should do in the hospitality as well. And if we think about it in general, if we believe that customers are doing more and more work themselves to research the needs what they have, saying that if we think about the whole sales process from the kind of the inspiration where the customer is getting inspiration, okay, I need that type of service, until the customer is really contacting the sales, there's so many things been happening in between already. So, and if we are not there from the sales perspective again, in that phase, I think we can completely miss the lead, or we don't really get the right type of leads. So that's and like you said, then whenever the customer is entering into that process from their perspective, starting the research, what they need. So we should be able to feed the customer the right type of information at the right time of the process.
Let's think about this a little bit about the higher angle. So if you are working on a hotel, which is an under hotel operator, which probably has like 20-25 hotels in their stack, what happens when we try to keep everything in the content updated and brand aligned?
That's a good question. So the time I was leading the sales teams, I think that was one of the kind of the pending issue all the time. So because sales managers are creative people.
Yeah,
we know
they try to they find a way.
We find a way in there. So we find a way. We try everything. We try different things. We see that okay, that doesn't work, so we move somewhere else. Which also comes back to the brand. So because we need to keep the brand relevant, and we have to respect the brand from the sales team as well. So so that's why I'm saying that it's been one of the key issues we've been trying to tackle. So creating the materials, for sales teams, which they can then easily use, but we can still keep the brand there. And the brand elements always there untouched in a way that they can't really change them or play around anything like that. So yeah, from that perspective, and when it comes to the content management, that's and more properties you have, more hotels we have, so it become a bigger issue. Even though, I mean, even though we are kind of discussing single brand here, but if you have a multi-brand. We are multi-brand operator. We have to kind of be able to serve basically the same materials with several different brands.
Yeah. So you need to have think about how much it multiplies the materials.
Yeah.
So you have one material, you need to have 5 different versions for
exactly.
5 different brands.
Exactly.
And everything needs to be updated.
Yeah. Think about that. I mean, yeah, that's it. I mean, think about materials. So there, I've been in a situation where I have my sales team. They've been selling 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 different brands at the same time. So our property's been belonging 4 or 5 different hotel chains or brands.
The sales guys need to have experience to throw out the right brand in the right place.
Yeah, exactly.
And the right kind of customer.
We have, I mean, yeah, exactly. And that's what it created. So basically we had 4 or 5 sets of exactly the same materials, because we had 5 brands or 4, whatever. So we created templates where we then fit the material for the content, and that was always an issue.
Let's keep a discussion a little bit here about keeping the materials updated. So what I have heard, I had a discussion, kind of like mid-level operator. They had a 28 hotels in Africa, and they said that they have been sending over 400 fact sheets in a week. What happens if they buy a new hotel, or they sell one of their old hotels, or one hotel is renovated, something is changed, the kitchen has changed, all the 400 fact sheets are out there?
Yeah, so especially in a situation where if there are properties moving, kind of entering into the system or exiting the system, that's always an issue. So the material needs to be changed, updated constantly.
How do you tackle in your previous workplace?
No, that was manual work. So someone from the marketing then went into the materials, removed.
There's always a place for errors.
There's always a place.
Most likely for your sales guys, they have something which is outdated.
Yeah, always. Yeah, it always happens. So it's a constant issue.
So are you relying on your salespeople that they are eager to find out that is there something changed, or
they have? I mean, yeah, they have to, because every single time you go into the meeting, you have to kind of
check everything is on place and updated.
No. But I don't see that's a major issue. So it's more that it's sometimes inconvenient to realize that, okay, maybe I have a little bit my materials are not up to date. But it's more that when it comes to the brand and
the brand management,
representing the brand. So I think it's even more important there.
Now we are talking about more like corporate sales or meeting and event sales. And how about partner sales? That when you are selling for your agents and partners?
Yeah, that's the whole different topic. Yeah. Oh, that's a whole different topic.
A whole different process.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you are in the kind of, if there's a partner kind of selling being yours,
but it's a common way.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've been talking about the multi-channel sales, the hospitality being always a multi-channel. Multi-channel sales. So that's nothing new in this business. So there's always been a middleman in between, kind of the aggregators and so on, and the companies working for the companies, and then like event management companies, they are managing the events for bigger corporations and so on. So and hotels needs to be able to offer all the materials to those companies.
And I believe so, and train them. You need to train these to be best sellers of your hotel.
And that goes not only the meetings and events, but I did a lot of luxury sales and towards the travel agents, for example. And that was always, I mean, that issue to kind of keeping the materials up to date and sending the materials to the agents, meeting the agents, being it online or kind of face to face, the same issue. So kind of sending.
Did you design how you train, how you manage these, or what did it the kind of the guidelines came from the brand or the hotel management? Or
in our case, we were kind of creating all those.
So you were responsible for getting that agents perform.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, that's right. So kind of training them about the product and the services and so on. Yeah. And
it's a lot of responsibility.
But that's part of the sales.
Yeah, but
in this business,
in software business, and if I had a partners, it would take a tremendous, huge amount of time to train them, keep them updated, and also somehow to check that which agent sells best and which does not, and where I'm going to put my efforts.
It's of course that's a completely different type of sales when it comes to the partners. And working with the partners, providing the materials to the partners, keeping it up to date, and kind of seeing that they also, because they are the representative of the brand as well. So that's why it's It's
This
so
is very fascinating because hotel has very many different levels, many kind of different sales processes, and they have a lot of different kind of audience that they need to be uh, uh, fulfill their needs.
Yep.
So it's I'm kind of very respect hotel.
So that's why, I mean, kind of the whole discussion today, it's been around the sales process and technology, how the technology can help the hotels the sell better, creating better experiences to customers. End of the day, it's the customer experience with what we are selling to the customers. So yeah, absolutely.
Let's move for the next topic, which would be that how to improve the initial proposal, and we already discussed a little bit about this, but let's go a little bit back about. So when we were discussing about the proposals, and what I had also heard from the hoteliers that when I asked them that which kind of content you use, the typical answer is that we use only proposals. So everything is a proposal. But in kind of my side, when I look at the same topic, they have a many different. They have the intro materials, they have the brochures, they have materials for the weddings, they have materials for my sales, for partner sales, and they have the proposals. So we already discussed a little bit about that. The way how those work is a kind of traditional way. They use a lot of words and PDFs, and what is going to happen next? Is going to be still the PDFs, or is it going to be a little bit more digitalized?
I think when it comes to the proposal documents, that's what we are discussing here. So I think that those will be digitalized in the future, most of the time. So the current way, how we do it, we send the PDF document and whatever supporting documents we have to the customer over the email, which I think that will fade away. We are moving more towards the kind of the digital sales platforms where we don't send anymore the actual materials. We send them a link to the website or
a link to the proposal.
Yeah, exactly. When I'm saying website, it's exactly the proposal.
Yeah.
It's technically we are sending them a link, which is serving, which is then when the customer is clicking the link, it's opening the proposal, and they can actually see it there. They can go through the proposal. They can even sign it there in the future. And if it's needed, it can be also kind of printed out as a PDF, depending if they need to share that information with someone who has no access to that information otherwise. But yeah, but I think and what it creates is, of course, creates better experience to the customer who's receiving it, because it can be more interactive, it can be more visual, it can be many more things than the traditional PDF, even though it's containing exactly the same information from a sales perspective, but it's much more. It can also contain the supporting materials.
I met a couple of weeks ago, we were at the ITB in Germany. I met a very good looking fancy hotel from Africa, and their competitive edge was the birds. They have had a unique atmosphere for very different kind of very exotic birds.
Okay.
And he sent his customers 300 pictures about birds.
Wow.
And,
with the sound.
With the sound. They have videos, they had a lot of different, of course they had 300 different birds. So they had a selection of different birds that are living in this area, and it was a part of their sales story.
Okay.
So and after the meeting, he sent me the whole package. They had 7 different formations, from PDFs to the PowerPoints to the videos, also for images, and everything was separated in tripod. So for the convenience to me as a buyer, it would be just so nice to have one link or a one comprehensive presentation where everything would be gathered.
I think it's what you're saying here. What I'm hearing is that it's kind of respecting the buyer's time or the customer's time. So if I have something unique I want to show you, I need to put it in a way to create whatever materials I have in a way which is like you as a customer can go straight to the point. You can easily find the information what is needed, what you need at that time, even though and if you find it, and but then again there can be other information behind the scene what you can then research more in depth if that's needed. And I think that comes from what you're saying, comes from the kind of idea that if we can save the customer time,
that's a place where I see that there is a very much a competitive advance. So if, like we said, that probably I would have like 3-4 offers from other hotels for my need, and one sends me a one comprehensive presentation which are tailored for me and including these competitive edge that these hotels have. Second one is sending me a Word document. Second one is sending me 7 different links of different kind of formations. And now it's my job to sell it internally in my company, to our board or the CEO, that, hey, do we go here or here? It gives me a much more further situation that holder which has this comprehensive presentation, which is tailored for me. It's very easy to present the CEO, hey, let's go here.
Yeah, I think that comes down to that. So when we are competing with other properties, absolutely. So yeah.
So let's go to the how to win the exit proposal, and we already discussed these competitive edges. What would happen if everything would be very tailor-made, customized in a one comprehensive presentation versus the very different kind of formations, etc. But what else? What else happens in the proposal phase? So. Maybe I will try to get you to visit my hotel with the proposal.
Yeah, when like I think we discussed already. So basically, when the proposal, the offer has been sent out, then there's a negotiation phase, and it comes down to the presentation, how we convey the value to the customer through the process, how to win the proposal. End of the day, it's about the value, how we present our value to the customer, so they understand the value what we are offering, being at the meeting, being at the wedding, being at the whatever private event. The customer is looking for the range in our property. So I think that's the winning formula. It's the idea. We need to be able to provide the clear picture, the full and clear picture to the customer in a way that they understand it, which takes as minimal amount of time from them to understand it, to what we are offering, so that we can show the benefits
and the small spice of over exceeding.
Of course, and that's interesting. Again, what you say in operations, we think that we have to kind of exceed the expectations. That's okay. We exceed our customer expectation, but I think that same mentality should be the sense. We need to exceed our customer expectation. And now I'm talking about the sales materials.
Are they aligned? Are they same quality than everything else?
Exactly. Yeah. So exceeding the customer expectation,
and not bulk materials. They should be tailored based on
not only to meet the customer expectation, but also to exceed the customer expectation. Yeah. So that's the winning.
That's the winning proposal. We have 10 minutes left, and I will take my part here, if you may, to tell a little bit about the Seidat. So Seidat has been developed for the hospitality and the hospitality market to help hotels create, distribute, and manage content. All of these different through these all different teams and properties. So when you have like 20 or even 100 or 1,000 properties, it's very easy and fast to keep everything updated in Seidat, like we discussed.
Yeah.
So we have this called smart slides and smart elements, which means that when you update something, all the rest of the presentations that you have already sent out will be updated. So there's no more mistakes anymore. That's the future.
Yeah, that sounds great.
That's the future of offers and proposals. No more mistakes.
Yeah.
let's see where we were. So a little bit about Seidat. So Seidat will be we are calling us a digital sales room. What it means, it's kind of microsite that you are sending the customer, and it's always tailored on the situation, and you can customize it in when you are going forward to the sales process. So when you're sending the initial offer, the digital showroom is based on that information and that situation, and then the sales professional will update the content of the digital sales room when you're moving forward with the customer. Yeah. And then here is a little some sneak preview of the digital sales room. Let's see how the internet connection is working. So this is an example of an just a demo presentation about how the hotel could be running their current proposals. So everything is combined in one presentation. It could be tailored based on the customer need. There could be a brand settings, which means that, like we discussed, that the sales managers and the sales, working wars of sales can not change too much, and they can only use these brand settings like logos, colors, and fonts, which came from the brand. Yeah. So then everything is aligned with their current strategy. Like I said, everything is in the same slide, so there can be these interactive floor plans, virtual doors, customized virtual doors, and of course all the relevant services could be there also added. By the way, it's a little bit difficult to have the conversation with you at the same time to change a little bit. But yeah, this is a learning experience for running webinars for me too. And if you think about more about the digital sales room, there can be everything in the same place, so there's no limitations about different formation. You can have a 3Ds, you can have even these digital twins, GPI, smart boards, everything in the same room, in the same field, which is shared by one link to the customer. And there can be attached e-signs, even a chat service. So if something is changed, or I want to change, I originally informed you that we have a 15, but we got 2 people sick, so we have only 13 left. And I can communicate that through the digital sales room to the customer, to the hotel, that hey, we have 2 persons missing. Can you adjust our offer or proposal? Which can even change one room. Maybe we need a smaller package, or the other way, we have even more people, so we need to change. This is the adjustable phase that you described in the process. And in the end, with everything of this comes the data, and that's something that we should end this webinar to discuss about 10 minutes about the data. So let's go back to the process from the RFP to the closing, and what kind of points in the perspective of sales can be measured and tracked. And if you are using and kind of these current technologies, like say that you can track down everything what happens in the side of materials when these materials are opened. If you have like 500,000 to 2 million offer out, you really want to see that is this person opened and what he have moved from there.
Yes, well, yeah. And I totally agree. I mean, data is, I've been working with the data, like at the revenue management for 20 years. And that's the gold mine also in the sales, to understand the customer, to understand the customer behavior and not the guessing anymore. So seeing when the proposal has been sent out, what happens next, how the customer is interacting with, what is interesting the customer. Is there something on those the proposal which they are really interested, how much time they are using on which elements of the proposal, and so on and so on. I think that's the value, as I understand what you are bringing on the table as well.
Yeah, if you think about it, that is the value that when you're talking about getting more deals in and shortening the sales cycle.
Yeah,
that will naturally happen. when you start using these kind of products and measuring your whole sales process and how the materials is used. But the other side is also the management. How to lead your sales operations based on data. And then you need the data, which kind of materials really works. And if you have like a sales guy A, sales guy B, sales guy A is sending all his offers with a kind of golf services. And second one is using some different services. But the A one is having a 20% better conversion.
Yeah, and it's the learning process. Think about in a big hotel, we are sending out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of proposals annually. So kind of it's about the learning that process and learning what is working and what is not. And especially if you're working with a very different type of customer bases, saying that if you're in the Middle East, you're the hotel selling to the Middle East. So and you're selling to US markets, or you're selling to the Asia markets. Very different customer base what you have. So you need to be able to also to tailor-made your offers or your proposals towards your customer base. And with the data, you can collect from those proposals, even being won or lost, doesn't really matter. We need both. We can understand what elements are creating those winning proposals. So what I'm kind of trying to say here is that if the market is responding better on some kind of offers than the other, then we need to go with the winning proposal type.
Exactly.
So yeah, and we don't know, because it's a guesswork. If we send out 100 proposals, we win 40 and we lose 60. So, and the question is why we are losing those 60. Is there something new with the offer itself?
Yeah, or somewhere else.
It's somewhere else. Yeah. So we have to first of all understand that. But then again, now and what is the winning? And then we can start to look into the proposals we want, because okay, is there's a common denominator in those proposals, what we don't have on those lost proposals. And then we said, okay, interesting, we can actually start tweaking those future proposals based on the information from the post proposal.
Exactly. Interesting. Of course, it's not if you think about the materials is not solving everything. There's a lot of different kind of stages, happenings, and the events in the process which could lead to the failure. Yeah. But at least if you think about the materials, you can start looking for your materials also to be your assets, not just a kind of a typical material that you just must have. They can be your competitive edge.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
We have used our time. Thank you. We are going to do a lot of more webinars at the future in different kind of topics mostly related to sales enablement and the sales and the marketing side of the hospitality. Probably, Markus, you will be visiting us also the next time with a different topic. Okay. And then for the wrapping up our webinar today, I would end this for the following us in the social media. So please check out Seidat web pages, Seidat LinkedIn profile, and we are currently active also in the Instagram. So please follow us, and we are going to be very active this year at many trade fairs into the Europe. Now we are traveling to the Dubai next to the ATM travel market to meet our customers there and tell more about our customers, how they could run their sales process by using sales enablement tools and digital tools and enhance their current traditional processes. So meet us there and take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.